This is Big Jake Little with a presentation on the sale of residential and commercial roofs. That's always a good benefit to look for. If people are staying at home during COVID, the trash company and the energy company is going to pick up trash and power homes instead of businesses. Well, now that it's reopening, those services then migrate back to the commercial side. So we're hopefully doing an apartment complex next year. The concept of minimalism is very powerful when it comes to the sale of roofs. The equipment that I use are shingle books. You got to have work orders to fill out, so a little bit of paperwork, computer for some insurance negotiations. You got to have the ladder and some chalk to mark up some damage, a tape measure. But besides that, if you have those things and perhaps a business card, you will be able to do what it takes in order to connect that homeowner with insurance and then to connect that insurance check with both the labor and materials required to take care of what that homeowner needs from you. Using this approach and going several weeks at a time, even without an email, because the business support behind me is so good, I've been able to do $100,000 in sales in 3 months while interacting with a vastly smaller number of people than I did previously in the production of home and auto insurance, where people are paying a few hundred per year. You're getting a couple percent of the deal versus roofs that cost in the thousands, and you're getting 10 to 20% of the purchase price as a salesperson. So what that implies is that you've got between a 20 and 40% margin. So the business plan we're dealing with here is a very capital light with regards to staffing. So the organization is going to be made up of just a few individuals to limit the amount of overhead that you have. So it enables you to focus on only the highest quality households. If we're already going to focus on the high quality good that's paid for by the insurance companies with unbelievable balance sheets, then we might as well also, within that business, think the same way with our time, as well as working with bigger homes. So that's why part of the business plan is a fairly relentless focus on cleanliness and presentation. So anybody that's going to be entrusted with the sale of these projects, we're talking haircuts once a month at least. Got to be well kept as far as the whiskers and the teeth and the eyebrows and things like that go. The outfit, I'm a real advocate of that shirt being tucked in, the shoes tied nicely, non-ripped pants as well. No sunglasses when you're talking to somebody. And I call these part of the business plan because there's not too much planning that actually goes into it. One of the goals I had this year was to not read materials instructing somebody on how to engage in the sale of a roof or knocking doors. I'm drawing on experience and focusing my energy on actually executing, which gets me to the next point about the business plan, which is the question of, is art a science? Is sales an art or a science? I think it's both, and here's a quick way of explaining it. It's a science in the sense that you have to talk to enough people, so knock doors at least 12 hours a week. You have to talk to the right people, talk with homeowners, talk with homes that have damage that you can see from the street perhaps, or roofs that look like they need to be replaced but aren't in such bad shape that you know they aren't going to do them. And the science aspect is, are you covering all the necessary pieces of information? So the training has to be relentless as far as making sure that each time a what are very high stakes conversations are taking place, that you cover key information so that nothing is being missed. So as long as those conversations are being had with the right people in the right way and in the right amounts, that part is the science. Now the art, and this is where the real training comes in, is the idea of connectedness with people. So whether it's you have a person that you know in common, or you know something about their job, or some other something else just to light up their day, people have a very fundamental need to feel connected. And when it comes to motivation, people need to be motivated to buy something. Well, where does the term motive, movement, we think of emotion, because those are the real factors that drive people to act. So in addition to hitting all the information the right way, we got to make sure we're getting to know people, and that they feel connected to the person that they're working with, because at the end of the day, trust is going to be the major factor to get these types of deals done. Now, as far as more specifics on how the organization should be organized financially, the hurdle over which somebody would have to clear in order for health insurance to be worth it is going to be about 5 or 6 employees. So until that threshold is hit, everybody's an independent contractor. They can deduct things on taxes and they'll learn something about business in the process. So even if there aren't too many tax deductions given the capital light structure, because you're not getting write-offs necessarily, though I may be getting a cowboy hat soon. $88, are you kidding? But taxes, we'll see. The gas in the vehicles got to be provided by that outside salesperson. There's got to be some buy-in. There's got to be some skin in the game, because if somebody shows up asking for things, that is not the meritorious spirit. That is not the commission-only, results-oriented spirit. That is absolutely critical when you're climbing on ladders and talking with strangers and moving projects that have very substantial stakes as far as picking the right colors. If you don't do that right, that's going to be a disaster. As far as that quality piece that we're talking about, the customer service part of that business plan is a very specific training on making sure that responses are done promptly and with some intention of delighting the customer. So not only doing what they expect, but doing more than what they expect. That's something I've learned from Lemonade Insurance Company, which is actually getting into homeowners. Haven't done a roof with them yet, but I'd be interested to see how the AI can go up against Big J, because a lot of these companies are paying out every time. The business plan is very simple. The execution of each step in the process of inspecting the home, getting an insurance adjustment to take place, getting the job signed, getting the roof loaded, getting the roof built. These are all fairly simple things that don't require great amounts of effort or skill at each individual step, but managing the process in its entirety is something that is doable by not too many people. So part of the business plan does really entail keeping things limited as far as how many people are coming aboard, and keeping things unlimited as far as how much training and support is going to be given to these folks. It's been a year unlike any other as far as the quickness of sales, and I look forward to that expanding. And I hope this was helpful and informative as you over there think about how 2020 is going to be the year you get your share of the Biden bucks.